we'll be making silage, a quick one hopefully. And you know the purpose of silage is actually a fodder conservation method. When the dry time comes like now, then you would want fodder for your animals. And one way is to make silage, another way is to do hay. We use molasses and any grass that is available, preferably the grass that is high in sugar, like your even sugar cane, yuba cane, and all these grass can be used for your silage making. The process is really anaerobic without oxygen, as you would know, and the bacteria that is active is the lactic acid bacteria. And in some instances where people want to fasten the process, they would use an inoculant, another lactic acid bacteria like your Lactobacillus plantarum, and that will bring the sugar to acid, bring it down to a pH of around 4 to 5. And then if you don't have, when the pH is higher than 4 to 5, you have another bacteria that will spoil it, like your butyric bacteria and the ammonia that is formed during that time. What we're going to use today is Pangola grass that was cut across the field. We want to add some lucina to that because you can always add things to your grass. We're going to add lucina. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be mixing the Pangola with the lucina. We'll be adding the molasses, and the molasses will push the sugar and help that process. And it also, at the end of the day, gives it a sweet smell, a sweet taste. And the molasses will push your energy within your silage. Most books would have ratio of 1 to 2 for your dilution of molasses. I prefer to use a 1-to-1 ratio and not to stick with that as by the book, a 1-to-1, because some molasses you get will be, the viscosity will be very, runny, and by dipping some molasses you can't do that. Some molasses, when you pick it up, it takes a long time to come out. So you'll have to watch the viscosity for you to decide your ratio, whether you want to use a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. If you're using like your sugar cane and all that, you might not even need any molasses, all right? But for the grasses that has less sugar, you want to use your molasses. So I'm using a 1-to-1 ratio or somewhere there, and watch the viscosity. And we try to, some grass, some lucina, and molasses. And the idea, as you know, is to get it airtight, to get rid of all the oxygen. Because once you have that oxygen, then you won't have the lactic acid bacteria working. You'll have some other bacteria, and it will spoil. One of the reasons you use your water is to maximize and how you use your molasses. Because in many instances, you don't have that amount of molasses. But if you have adequate molasses, you don't need any water.
how you do the plastic too. That is very important. And once air gets into it. And what you should also prepare for too is allow for about 15% spoilage. Because the one top is going to have some spoilage on the top and on the side. The next thing again, depending on how thick, it depends on the type of grass. For example, you know, the pennicillin grass, the king grass and the dwarf. If you use that, it's going to take a longer time to break down as opposed to pangola. Because in the pangola there's more surface area. And the more surface area you have, the quicker it breaks down. The grass that is thick and have more moisture, it will take a longer time to break down.
You keep adding the molasses. Now one layer, add molasses, another layer, add molasses, another layer, add molasses, another layer. Right, so you want to make sure that all the surface area of the particles have some molasses. When we're making silage here, we have made silage in-house under a shed. And we sometimes make silage in the field where we dig a trench and plastic the area and put it. When we do make in the field, we put it under shade, right? But it doesn't have to be that way, all right?
If you make it in the field, you have to fence it because you don't want animals stepping on it. Because once the animals step on it,
yes, and
penetrate the plastic and then water go in there, that's the end of the story. Some people do silage just for the sake of doing silage. That's not the purpose of silage. For example, I see somebody do silage and then they feed it immediately after you work. You could have may as well feed it with chop because there's no advantage. You know, what it is, the silage method is a storage, forage storage method. So what it's good for, when you have a lot of forage, that is more than you want to use, then the surplus. It's a storage for use in times of scarcity.